Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and here we have the second of the Aliens Colonial Marines review. This is the XENOMORPH LURKER. That's a guy in there. I just wanted to give you an idea of what they look like since this is a fairly new line. And then again, if you want to check out more stuff, check out their direct pages, or go to Big Bad Toy Store, and they do have these guys for sale currently. Let's take a look at the figure. Again, these are meant to be in scale with the 3 3/4 inch lines of figures, and they are at just about 5 inches tall. These guys will fit in with your Joes or Star Wars or whatever you may want to pose them with. Now, I have to point out that I had this guy out of the package earlier, and I pulled on this just because I don't know, I pulled on it to see how it was made, and I popped it off. It's not supposed to come off. That's my fault. It's not the toy's fault. It came on completely. It was glued on, but I pulled it off. But you can see what it looks like with it on. It is a nice clear piece, and it gives the effect that it's supposed to. It looks pretty cool. It may be reflecting a lot of light on the camera, from the camera, due to the camera, whatever you want to say, and so it looks a little more opaque than it does translucent. In person, it looks just fine, so I wouldn't worry about that. Let me set this guy aside though really quick so I can show you what accessories we have. We do have what I believe is called the face hugger. Like I said in the other video, I'm not 100% sure, but there he is. Nicely detailed, nicely sculpted. Fairly simple paint job, but I think that's all it is. That's all it's warranted on there, so that's okay. If you didn't see the other video, I'll just go through the whole thing real quick. He's about 3 inches long from head to tail, about 1 inch long for the body of that. We do have the cocoon thingy. This one is closed, the other one was opened. Nicely detailed. It has a little bit of a glossy paint job to look kind of slimy. And then it looks like, you know, it's sitting there and it's got the little base thing going on. So that's pretty cool. That's mostly solid plastic. We have 6 alternate hands. We have, and they're the same on either side, so we have 2 of the stylized hand with the fingers kind of bent in different ways. We have 2 of the more open palm, which is just pretty much kind of like a straight out hand. Pretty nicely detailed. We have kind of like that bony, muscly, structural type thing going on. It looks nice. And then this is more of a clasped hand. So you can have him holding somebody up by the neck or something. That would be pretty cool. And then they just peg in, so they have just the swivel articulation. And then lastly we have the metal grate base with the peg in the foot, for the foot right there. So that's pretty nice. Now let's look at the actual figure. Now, just like the soldier, this guy sculpted really well. He has a lot less shading on him. The soldier had kind of that brownish green look. This guy has almost like a silvery blue dry brush on him. It doesn't stand out quite as much, but he still has that really glossy black paint job and makes him look nice and goopy and oozy. And again, the mouth doesn't come out, but this time his mouth is open. And even though I popped this clear part out, it looked really cool while it was on the first time, so I'll have to glue that back on for myself. It looks, you can see on this side how it's supposed to look. It looks pretty good. I like the way they did that. And the figure, with his legs bent as they are, he stands just about 5 inches tall. So like I said, he's pretty much in scale with any of your 3 3/4 inch figures. Should work just fine. He has the bendable tail just like the soldier. Really nicely bendable. As you can see, it'll take just about any shape. The plastic they used, you know, you don't normally get that kind of quality out of a bendy part. It either looks bad or it doesn't bend well, but this one looks good and bends well, so I'm not sure what this company did, but they did it right. It looks great, and you'll be able to pose that however you like. Shouldn't have any trouble at all. As far as the articulation goes, the neck has a really good range of motion. Anything you want to do, you can do. That's just fine. We have ball hinges in the shoulders, full range of motion there. Tuck that down a little more if you want to. We have a swivel at the top of the elbow, and then we have the 90-degree hinge there. A swivel in the wrist that I told you about. The hinge, the diaphragm joint in the torso. So you can basically get him to do whatever you want. Doesn't have the greatest forward movement, but it goes back and side to side and everything really far. So you should be able to get him posed fairly well. And then the hips, we have the ball hinge. For the hip, it swivels in the groin and in the thigh, so you can get that worked around however you want. It's kind of like a Y joint, but you should be able to get the poses done no problem. Even with this kind of hip plate there, it works just fine. And then for the knees, we have a single jointed knee hinge and then it swivels around at the top. They're kind of like the Hasbro Legends did for a while. And then we have the ankle hinge that swivels and then has the hinge there and there. And then you can see the pegs in the feet, peg holes in the feet for if you want to use the base. You know, I'm not a huge Alien fan, but I really do enjoy these little figures. They're not too shabby at all. They look good for the scale especially. They're really nicely detailed, and I can see a lot of people putting these guys to good use in a nice little shot of maybe an alien fighting, I don't know, let's say Boba Fett or somebody else. So right now I'm kind of just trying to balance him since he's not on a flat surface. That might happen, but it does balance just fine once you're holding him and put him on his peg. You know, it's not a really balanced design for a figure, but there's nothing you can do about that. So there it is, guys. There's the XENOMORPH Lurker. I do recommend it. It's a cool little figure, and it definitely at the price point you're getting what you paid for sure, without a doubt. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.